we go. Yep.
Okay, so what I did today, there was a lot of chatter going on because there is a really popular, article that goes out. This guy does Zach Miller. He does ratings. Every year he's done it for many years and everything. He's been cited many times, but he basically just breaks out what's your average rating per game that's televised. So yeah, this isn't perfect data because it's not going to grab any data that Utah playing on the Pac-12 network. And so there's a little bit of distortion in these figures and stuff, but by and large, if your school's on network TV, there's any type of measurement on Paulson. So if it's on ABC, Big Ten Network, ESPN, ESPN2, FS1, it's going to get tracked. Just not stuff that might be like on ESPN Plus or the Pac-12 Network or ACC Network anyway. So I think this is valuable information. I'm always intrigued, and he provides this annually. He came up with his 2023 numbers, and I was looking through those today. He breaks out, what's the average viewership per game for each program. Okay, so nothing new there. But what he also gives some historical data. I'm going to scroll through kind of quickly, guys. But he gets historical data back from 2022 and 2021 timeframes. So I was just kind of curious. So I broke out data from 2021, 2022, and 2023 on all the new Big 12 teams, on all the ACC expansion targets. So there's like 7 or 8 expansion targets that are realistic targets. Clemson is not a realistic target, and also on Wazoo and Oregon State, just to take a look see on what viewership we're seeing, compared to the Big 12 teams, and what looks like it's a fit viewership wise, because we know that viewership's massive because it speaks on fan bases and it's massively important for television contracts. So with all that data, I crunched all that data, I averaged the data up, and you can see here, I didn't make it look pretty yet. I can probably do a short video though. This would be a great short video. But here's a 3-year average from 2021 to 2023 for really 25 schools, 16 new Big 12 schools, and then Pitt, Georgia Tech, Miami, um, and all these expansion targets, as well as Wazoo, Oregon State. And you can see some things that are jumping out, like Colorado actually leads the pack because of the Deion Sanders effect,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
They would have been one of the lowest on this without Deion, but they got
That's
such a
right.
bump that over the last 3 years, they're averaging 1.74 million viewers per game over the last 3 years. And again, if Deion wasn't considered and we were looking at 2021, 2022 numbers, it would be like 400,000.
Yeah.
It would have been horrible. But Deion really swung it that much. So they're the
Yeah.
best. You can see this like the best product maybe, or the most exciting product or whatever, like out of all these teams. You go down the list, TCU makes sense. Over the last 3 years, they've had some good football teams. They made the CFP run, 1.5 million viewers over the last 3 years on average. Oklahoma State, 1.47. Had some good squads. University of Utah, 1.23. Iowa State had a good squad a couple of years ago that really drove this, 1.08, and so on. But what really jumped out to me is this. You see this VT right here?
Yeah.
That's Virginia Tech Hokies. Check this out. Okay. Over the last 3 years, what do you think their average viewership has been?
I don't know. 300,000.
370,000.
Wow.
That,
Okay.
okay. So when you're looking at that, obviously, in just like, this comparison again to the Big 12 and, everyone here, I mean, that's way low, right? I mean, you're almost to the University of Houston level.
Right.
But like trying to say that you qualify for the Big Ten conference when you're just pulling in 370,000 viewers on average, that doesn't work. I mean, like Nolan, you know it, like the Big Ten network, they're pulling in like over, around like a million viewers in the Big Ten network. And
Right.
Michigan, like Virginia Tech is not a fit for the Big Ten or the SEC based on the fan base, based on viewership. I mean, of course they're going to get a little bit of a bump by playing a Big Ten team, but all these schools will get that same bump. And in fact, they'd get a bigger bump probably because they have bigger fan bases. But this tells me that the fan base is not what we think it is for Virginia Tech. It's not just 1 year data. This is 3 years of data. It's shocking to me. Virginia Tech could be that low. And also, hey, our buddies Pitt, 630,000 viewers on average per game. I mean, that's lower than your average Big 12 team. So really, Pitt is not as sexy as we think they are. Georgia
I
Tech
think
sitting right
I
there.
think they're attractive because of the rivalry with West Virginia. I think
Sure.
that's why they're valuable.
This tells me that people care about watching West Virginia more than Pitt. Maybe there is that multiplier effect. I mean, this includes one backyard brawl or 2 years of backyard brawl games too, over the last
Right.
couple of years. But we're not talking about. Okay, so what are the takeaways here? So the takeaways are Virginia Tech's shockingly low. Um, TCU in Oklahoma State, University of Utah, Iowa State, BYU are above Miami.
Right.
That's shocking. You think Miami's this massive fan base and stuff, but they've been up and down. But also, like, I mean, these teams in a lot of ways are pretty similar in the middle. And like, even if the Big 12 goes and adds schools like a Virginia Tech and like an NC State, I'm not sure it's going to move the needle as much as I previously thought.